Aly Dhalla is an experienced entrepreneur and is in the midst of launching his third company, Finaeo, a digital assistant for financial professionals. He's going to share with us today how Finaeo aims to not only help financial professionals, but everyone involved in that world, especially the customer. And he's also going to tell us his top 3 tips to launch a successful startup. This is your third, but you've been involved in all kinds of startups and are very involved in that whole, I don't even know whether it's a current word anymore, ecosystem?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So both in Toronto and Vancouver. Tell us a little bit about your story.
For sure. So I started big bank, a traditional banker, working my way up, kind of paying my way through school, and financial collapse had happened, and there was obviously a couple of opportunities to move up in the ranks. And so I kind of fell in love with the world of helping people through their finances. The way that I looked at it, it was another way to be a doctor. You're just helping people with their financial health instead of their real health.
And performing some interesting surgeries.
Totally. And at the time, you didn't have surgical tools. You had, Band-Aids and duct tape and shoe leather because the market was collapsing everywhere. But what we had was a great process on kind of how to deal with people. And so as I moved through that career, I had a great opportunity to work at the corporate level and then moved on to the startup world. And so it was this entire new wave. Our first company was really built around a platform for employee benefits, helping younger people, millennials, make better decisions, leveraging technology in that process. Got acquired by a larger player in the insurance space, an intermediary that allowed us to aggregate products from different suppliers and then distribute through a technology platform.
So were you one of the founders of that first company?
I was the first employee at that first company.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you've started a new company that's serving that industry, Finaeo. What is it?
Finaeo. So Finaeo is a platform for the insurance professional and financial planners at large. The goal is to help them create better relationships with their clients, leveraging a platform. We think that there's a lot to be desired in terms of how transactions are handled, the transparency within those transactions, and more importantly, the service that's provided from those advisors to that end user.
Give me an example of what you're talking about. And this came out of your own experience of being a financial advisor?
Absolutely. Yeah. So very simple is the application process for any financial product that you purchase. Typically, as a consumer, you give your information away. That information is put into a black box, and a couple weeks later, you come back with a quote or a different product that you purchased. But in that process, you feel very disconnected from it. And so for us, it was about how do we give the financial professional a tool that allows them to bring that client into that ecosystem and be very transparent around the process around it.
Well, how does it work? What is it?
Sure. So we start with a platform that has a digital assistant at the core. So the biggest problem we wanted to solve for these professionals is the metric of how do I create more efficiencies in my day so I can serve my clients better. So taking the example of after a meeting with a client, you have a ton of handwritten notes. Well, a simple way is leveraging audio dictation, natural language processing, and task automation to turn those notes into actionable items for you.
So with Finaeo, what stage are you at? Like from your kind of your pre-revenue?
Pre-revenue.
So tell us a little bit about that story of putting this company together.
Absolutely, yeah. So the story started with our own observation, myself and 2 co-founders, of what are the biggest challenges that financial professionals, broad sweeping, are facing today. The biggest was the change in consumer need. So come to me instead of me coming to you. Meet me at Starbucks instead of me coming to your office. And so that first instinct was, well, we need an app. We need something mobile as a tool that you can take with you. So 135 advisors that we started by interviewing, understanding their needs, their wants. We then built our first kind of minimum viable product in 3.5 weeks. We launched a 50-person beta, which ran for 6 weeks after that. And we took a ton of qualitative and quantitative data from there, a lot of feedback, a lot of testing, a lot of wireframing. From there, we raised a little bit of capital. The first $250,000 was actually from our clients. So that was a good indication that there was a product market need. We didn't have fit, but there was a need that we identified.
When you say from your clients, so in other words, the people that would actually be using the app are investing in the company.
Absolutely.
That's a great way to go.
Yeah, and so what we did is we went to these clients and said, hey, at the end of the day, we're an early stage company. We need to hire engineers to solve the problem. You can be part of the journey with us, or you can be a customer at the end of the day. And a lot of them said, well, this is cutting edge. We know this is going to revolutionize the industry, and we want to be a part of that.
So Aly, you, corporate world, into an entrepreneurship mode, your third company, very obviously passionate and dynamic about this whole space. Give us your 3 tips to launching a successful startup.
Okay, 3 tips. So be bold, be fast, and build the best team in the world.
Let's just get into that a bit. Bold, be fast. Now, bold, I get it. It's like that's what being an entrepreneur is. You've got to be that guy that doesn't know it can't be done. Okay,
Exactly.
that's number one. I get the bold part.
Yep.
What about fast? Is
Totally.
this sort of shoot, ready, aim?
In a sense, but I think what it is calculated testing. And it's about around having a process. And the one thing that startups or smaller companies have at their advantage is nimbleness. You can outmaneuver a larger business because you can test multiple different things at lightning speed. So I'll give you a great example. A marketing message, a social media message, instead of having to go through a board to make a decision, to get an approval, to go to legal, you can just 3 different tests all in the same day, iterate that message on the second. And so it's really about moving at hyperspeed.
So in this day and age of technology advancing at this hockey stick rate, and it's now exponential and exponential, and it's the numbers are starting to get wild. The world's knowledge.
Yeah.
It is the startup companies, the nimble companies that are gonna change the world.
I believe so. I think we're the best positioned, especially if you take a look at where a lot of mature businesses are from a technology perspective. Taking the lens of the insurance market, you have a very antiquated supply chain, which is 85% paper-based. And it's very small tweaks and efficiencies that create beautiful automation within those existing companies. So for us, it's about where can you break in where there is an existing mature practice and leverage technology to automate as much as you can.
Okay, that third thing. Okay, so we said bold,
Yes.
be quick, and then
Hire
the
best
team. The
Yes.
team. And it's not just hiring. It's like who you bring on as advisors, who you
Yes.
partner with.
Yes.
It's all about the people.
Absolutely. I mean, we talk about the term the Finaeo family. And so the Finaeo family for us is absolutely our employees. It's our angel investors. It's our clients. It's our strategic partners. So it's everybody who's banding together about this vision of the future. And they're all putting their hands around each other and saying, together we can make it. I have literally my angel investors on speed dial. And I'm calling them, I'm not kidding, once every 2 days in some cases to get that guidance and support. And that's all about creating the best team in the world.
Aly, tons of energy. I can only imagine what you'd have done on the basketball court, but we're so glad that you had some knee issues so that you could help the entrepreneurial world. Thank you so much for coming on Biz
Thank you for having
101.
me. Pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.